All right. So Barry Brewer Jr., welcome to YouTube Conversation. How are you, man?
Thank you, man. I'm well, brother. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, first of all, shout out to your assistant Kayla for
Shout
arranging
out to
this.
Kayla Simone. Yeah.
Very professional,
Thank you. Thank you.
No
She
problem.
she and she's also an amazing songwriter.
Oh,
Amazing
okay.
songwriter, singer, songwriter. So I always want to shout her out there because we've been working together in music a long time. And then I brought her on as my assistant because she's um she's a taskmaster as well. So
Very on point. Very on point. She has social media and everything, right?
yes.
Okay, got it. All right, we'll get
Yeah.
into that. So you grew up in Chicago, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Southside Inglewood. Yes, sir.
So one thing I've noted about Chicago, y'all have a lot of miceses.
we don't have any miceses at all.
No, but isn't it like
There is none here.
the whole crew is stupid? How did that
Yeah.
come about?
Um, Bigg Jah, aka Jade, um, is an amazing writer and just concept person, and he's a great casting of a person. He likes to cast. He can see, like, oh yeah, you fit good in this role. Like he has an eye for that. And him and I worked on a project that I wrote um, in 2012 or 2013 called The Perfect Plan. He directed. So Jade went to school for film and television. He minored in that and he played football at Cal State on a full ride scholarship. He's educated. He's a college graduate. And so anyway, he started doing sketches and blowing up, and him and I had a relationship from early on, working on projects together, doing stand-up together. And I was like, man, I'm trying to get my social media game up. Let me know if you can use me in one of your sketches. And he's like, man, I have this one sketch in mind, and I know you. I need you. Like, it's you. It's you need to be in it. Um, and it was the whole crew is stupid. And apparently, I come across as a person who's a know-it-all, or try to correct everybody, which I've learned that I am to some degree. But yeah, so that he gave us a piece of, hey, this is the premise, and him and I improv really well together. And you give kind of the disposition of all the characters, and we just hit it, man. And the first one was cool. When we were filming the second one, it's so funny. We both always, me and him always say this, like we thought it was redundant. It's like, yeah, that's probably not, because nobody was laughing on set. One of the guys that works close, he's a creative too. His name is Troy. Was filming, and nobody was laughing. I mean, I'm improv and I'm going in. I don't know if you remember at the end of the second one, I'd yell. I'm like, man, y'all stupid. I don't understand.
When you're
And
walking down the
nobody's
block,
laughing.
right?
It's usually, as a comedian, you're used to that response. You know what I mean? So nobody was laughing. So this is the one where he's like, Mises. He's like, ain't no Meese out here. Remember when Meek says that? And and we thought it was just like, okay, this is not. And then that one, boom, it
Yep.
blew. It was like, what? And then we did another one, and it was a thing. And I didn't. Sometimes when you're creating, I don't think you really understand that. You'll never know the impact until it comes, and how English teachers and educators and everybody was really just enjoying. I mean, people from all walks of life that you would never think. An older black lady coming up to you who's an elementary school teacher is like, I just love how you all play on words because the English language is da 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 da. And in the moment, you're not thinking it's that in depth of a concept, but the English language is very, very complex, and it doesn't really make rational sense. So the concept in there is really funny, but I don't think it was that deep, because it was a story that happened with Ja that brought this concept together. So that's long story long how it all came together.
It was to have that. Well, let me point this out, right? So you did a lot of funny skits with Bigg Jah, Minx, and a lot others. But I, th- you're one. I have a list, but you're one of the people that are not in sexual content.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so why is that?
Um, nobody, can I tell you this just to give you a compliment? Nobody has ever asked me that question. So I think that's an amazing observation for sure. Um, I come from a wholesome, like, well, I can't say I come from a wholesome background. On weekends, I went to church. I grew up in the hood. My mom drunk, did drugs. So I grew up in the hood, but I was more attracted to the more wholesome life. I have kids. I think how I started stand up comedy has been just, you know, wholesome. Like I'm a man first, but I just think as it relates to what I present, I want my kids and my family. I just want to be able to sit with my family and enjoy content, whatever that may be. And I think that because of that being who I am, I just not very attracted to that style of media or me being that person to put it out. You know what I mean? And if I do it, I'll walk on the lines, but it'd be still with a little taste. It will taste. You know what I mean? That I think family friendly. You know that you can still appreciate it. So that's just who I am and what I try to associate myself with. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, there's some skits you play with, your husband with the ghetto counselor,
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
counselor trying to get your wife, but there's really no sexual content um in that. So I want to give a big hats off to you because um it's very important. Very important,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
You,
it's very
you know
important
what's
that you
funny?
do
You
that.
say that. If I may interject, I did have a sketch where I'm like single and I'm like co-parenting with my child. I don't know if you saw the sketch, and a girl comes over and we were supposed to get it in, but my child is coming there, so I'm trying to like battle between like my daughter and trying to hide like, but it's still family. It's realistic to a single father that he may, like my daughter had to be dropped off at the time. So it's funny, but I never played really into the sexual side of it. So
Is there any
I don't even think that's just what I create. So it's funny. I never even think like, oh, I don't want to do no sexual. That's not how I think. It's just the sketch that came out.
so is there any sketches that came out that or that you was approached about that you had to turn down due to sexual content?
That's a great question. Yes, I didn't turn it down, but I changed it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't like that, but we can do it like this if you cool with that. And they were like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, cool, we can do that. Like it's been some scenarios like that for sure.
So how do you feel about because my message is to a lot of people and it's also to hopefully help I have a small voice, but I do feel like I will grow and hopefully other content creators, I always ask them of this, hopefully we can change the dynamic of comedy, right? Especially with YouTubers, right?
Hmm.
YouTubers is the new Netflix.
Facts.
And there's gonna be some deals coming in because Netflix does TV series and stuff like that. Um, so how do you feel that with the success that you have, and you did not have to get in because most of the content creators you deal with, not saying anything about them, but a lot of content creators you deal with is overly sexual. It's like over exaggerated sex, right? So how do you feel that you was able to accomplish what you have?
Staying
Um,
true to myself for sure. I think it's so funny. I was just telling who was I talking to? It was yesterday. I was telling people like I think that's the trick. Like when you see success, true success, and it sustains itself. I think it has a lot to do with people being true to their self, to the art, to the things they believe in. Like I was saying this on an interview yesterday as a comedian that's clean on stage. He was like, "Yeah, you're a clean comic. You don't use profanity on stage." And I was like, yeah, that's just what that was me being true to myself because I wasn't really using profanity in my regular conversation. So given that I'm not playing a character and this is my self-expression, this is how I naturally talk. So if a comedian came to me, he's like, hey bro, should I be clean? I'm like, no, you need to be true to yourself. So I think that how I've been able to fight through the sexuality of all the social media is just being true to myself. And I think there's people out there that's like me that connects with that type of content. So they've finally, they're starting to gravitate to what I do because that's what they like. And I think it's an audience for that, just like it's an audience for everything else.
Yeah, because Denzel Washington, spoke about how when he first started, there's a lot of roles he didn't get. Right, he had to turn away due to wearing a dress or just whatever it was. So now that your foot is definitely in the door, people know what to approach you with. And there's probably a lot of scenes where a lot of movie opportunities they probably like, no, I'm not even gonna approach Barry about that because he doesn't do that. And I
Right.
think that really puts you on a higher pedestal. And it's a good example to when your kids get older.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And I try not to bring. there is a thing when you're an actor that you kind of want to see, like, how far are you willing to go as an actor? Because in true acting, you don't ever want to bring your morals to the character, because you can judge the character, you know what I mean, that you're about to, be. So, but I've crossed that line. I know exactly what I'm not going to do and what I'm willing to do. And if it's something that I think is respectable and that is, something I think is something I'm okay with my son and them saying like, yeah, this is a normal husband and wife in the room and da 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 da, or hey, these are, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where you got to kind of have your morals and your integrity already in check. And so when whoever approaches you, it's not about the money, it's not about the opportunity. You can turn it away, because you know what you're about.
So on 50 Cent's one of his albums called The Massacre. You heard of that before, right? Kind of
Yes,
old, right? But he was on tour and he had to take one of his photos and draw a line around the abs because he got out of shape. He was on tour a lot, right? So
hilarious.
for people not to know he was fat at that time, he took a marker and just drew it and they put it on an album cover. What do you do to stay fit? Because you're on the road a lot. You're on the
Yeah,
go. You probably don't have time to sit down and have healthy meals. How do you
man.
do it?
I just went poop play ball last night. My calf is hurting right now as we speak. I try to hoop, play ball as much because that's what I love to do. I always tell people I don't want workout to feel like a job, so I try to find a hobby that I can work out and have fun and doing at the same time. I think that's effective. I try to, especially if I'm about to be on the road, just try to take my vitamins and eat better. Don't drink a whole lot of sugary drinks. Don't eat a whole lot of carbs. Just try to do the protein. Like I said, I play ball, and those are the things I do. The minor things I do.
To stay healthy because I think it's important just as black men in general or men and women, right, but especially with black men, especially younger. A lot of young black men are their health is like
Yes.
you see younger kids at a younger age, 20 years old with diabetes and um
Yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah.
and with COVID it affects overweight people a lot more,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know someone that had like a tube and I was like, wow, man. So one thing that's very important is discipline, right? I guess sexual discipline.
Yeah.
You've been on a skit with a lot of attractive females and so forth. Um, why is that? Why is that important? Being disciplined as far as not taking that step, not even
Oh,
engaging.
oh man, it's important because of your reputation. It's important because of um the issues that can come from it, right? The problems and the lack of work you can get. I think it's important because of your own life and what you're trying to accomplish. And I think I think we all instinctively have certain vices. So the more disciplined you can be, I think the more you can accomplish in your time here on earth. Um, so in with women or whatever your issues is, I think discipline is so important to be successful in the thing you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of the most important things, especially in this industry.
When you go out and you don't feel like paying for the meal like you did the first time, do you still intentionally leave your wallet home?
You really have done your research. I did not intentionally leave my wallet at home.
Uh huh. I just want to point that out. I think that was really cool. So
It was cool. It was cool because I got to see who she was. But the more important thing is that I tried to get her to, do it again another time because I didn't, because I felt weird. As a man, I've never had a woman take me out or pay for me or anything. But she, just how cool she is. That's why she's with me now. She's married. We married now and still together. So,
on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy is it being a father, a black father? So
oh my
one will
God,
be easy, 10 will be the hardest, right?
yeah, I would say it's like a 9.
Nine is okay, like a
Hard.
nine,
Hard
right?
for me in my case, right? Not being with my child's mom, I've been in the custody court for about 9 years, in and out. Um, what's sad? Like, even dealing with people outside sources. Like, I was in court. I say this on stage. I'm working on a new hour special. shameless plug. My stand-up special is out. Chicago, I'm home. I talk about my son, but I'm talking about him in my new special that I'm going to do. It's just about how the court system, a black man who was a judge, was like, "Why you want more time with your son?" And asked me that question, and it was just the uphill battle that you deal with sometimes in not being with the parent, and then the battle you deal with to the world and how unimportant what you're trying to do and to help guide this black young man to a great life and to then be an asset to the world. You know how you're fighting every other source, you know what I mean, like even if you're presenting valid information of what needs to be best for the child. So being a black father in my experience has been a very tough journey, but it's one that I've embraced, understanding what I do on this earth is a contribution, and then how I raise this young man is the second contribution that I can do while I'm here. So, but it's been tough. I can, and that's just me being real. You know, people are like, no, it's cool. No, it's been a journey, bro. It's been a journey.
Well, I want to congratulate you on your self control and persistency. Right,
Thank you, bro.
we just had a incident. I don't, with a guy. Not sure if you're aware. He took the life of his current wife and his
Wow,
the ex-wife because they wouldn't let him see his child or something like that.
wow.
Um, the issue I have with that is that a lot of people are blaming a lot of the men were blaming the women for that. We gotta take accountability, you
No,
know?
for sure. Can I say this? And this is controversial. The saddest thing I want you to understand is that the saddest thing is that I can understand how someone can get there. That's what I want to speak to. From a personal experience, I can understand how a man can get there because, like I said, you're not just fighting the mother, you're fighting everybody else for the rights that should automatically be yours. And when somebody starts to touch and tamper with the very thing you love, especially if that's important to you in life, I think that if you're not grounded and you don't have, in my opinion, a spiritual walk, you can lose sight of what's important, right? Like you get caught up into the fight so much that you stop taking the mom's like that's you're defeating the whole purpose, right? Like you start to forget like why are you even doing it because you start to get so caught up in this battle and it can really mess you up mentally that would drive a person to that. And I don't necessarily I agree with you. Accountability is on everybody, right? Nobody made that man do it, but there is some accountability on the mother's part. I don't think it's all her fault at all. I don't think nobody's accountable for making somebody do something because that's their own actions, right? They're accountable for that. But we know when we provoke person. If I came to you right now and I pushed you and you hit me and I died, like there's some accountability on your part because you hit me and I died, but there is something that I did to provoke, and I have to be accountable. It's not. It's harder to hear it from the man's side when the man was the one that did the problem and the crime. But if a woman was saying, "Hey, there's some accountability there on your part, mom," I think it would be better received. You know what I'm saying? Like because I think it would be better received. But those are great conversations I love to have because I don't want us to be a separate. I don't want mom and dad to be against each other. I really think children need all of us. He needs us to be together. And I think that not to get so spiritually deep, but I think it's the trick of the enemy to keep us at odds. And even when you see a situation like that, it's two sides of the table instead of a conversation like, hey, what can we do in our society and our culture that the dad don't feel like that and that doesn't happen to a mom or anybody? What can we do to change the narrative that this is not a thing that happens at all? Like let's talk about that instead about who's right and who's wrong. Why did this happen? Where could we rectify it? How can we change the narrative? You know what I mean? Let's be result driven. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, I won't curse, but ACS or CPS or is a piece of because
Yeah.
there's a lot of cases when they give back the child to that parent. So quick story, my nephew, there was obvious signs of drug abuse from the mom, father too, my brother, drug abuse and maybe some sexual stuff going on. Um, he was taken from his mother 11 times.
Wow.
And they would rather it go back to her than to us. So I had to get a second job,
Wow.
to for attorney fees. So listen, I totally understand. It
Right.
makes
Just to
you,
put what's obvious in front of them.
you start to have some ideas like, you know what, that judge or whatever, but I say, if I do, I'm not gonna be around. So, and he needs me. So let me do this. And it kind of worked in our favor, but
Well, thank you. Thank
it's
you.
always it doesn't matter if she's a drug addict, whatever, it's always in her favor.
And that's unfortunate. But can I give shout outs to you for fighting for that child's future and that safety and that child's just life? I think it's a blessing for people like you that goes out their way to say, hey, I care about that child's future. And so I'm going to do all I can to
Yeah.
at least make an effort. My last time in court this time, everybody was telling me the judge, the court, they were trying to discourage me from doing it. I said, you know what? I, f- I feel in my spirit, I got to do what's best. And if it doesn't work out in my favor, or if I don't get what I'm asking for, I can be with peace within myself, knowing that I did all that I could to do what I felt was best for my child. And I can live better and sleep better at night knowing that I did that. And so whatever comes from it, I know I did my part. I tried. I gave it my all. And my mom used to say, if you get a D or a C, but you gave it your all, that's better than a halfway A. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So
Yeah, as long as you kept trying, so that's the way I look at it. I remember there's a quick story. Someone told me that a father went to prison to go visit his son, and he said, "Son, I told you before you got here, now you're doing life, but I warned you, and I had to leave you alone because you was crazy, And the son said, yeah, but Dad, you told me to do right, but guess what? You stopped caring, you stopped trying.
oh
So
wow.
now my point in my life, I want to do better, but I'm locked up. So I think as long as you keep trying, especially with kids, you get to where you're at. All right. So now there's a lot of legends in our era that's kind of up there in age. Clint Eastwood, Betty White, Sylvester Stallone, Morgan Freeman, John Amos, Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson, Angela Bassett, Pam Grier, James Earl Jones, Danny Glover. The list goes on. Who would you like to, before they're passing, who would you like to work with? Because you're
Whoopi
not just a
Goldberg.
comedian, you're a, huh?
Actor. Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Have you
she's
tried
one
to
of the.
reach out, man?
No, I didn't try to reach out. I mentioned it to Mr. Perry, Mr. Tyler,
Oh, okay.
because they are going to be producing Sister Act 3.
Hey, man, don't no spoilers, right?
Oh yeah, well no, it's I don't know where it is in the
Okay,
process, but
okay.
hopefully I could be a part of it. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I haven't necessarily reached out because I'm still at the point in my career that I'm still auditioning, I'm still proving myself, right? Like even though I may have some things that is moving, like I'm still proving myself. I'm still the underdog. I'm still trying to show them, hey, I'm worthy of these opportunities, which is okay because I've had to do it thus far. So it's fine. But yeah, she's one of the people I really have admired, loves her career, love her. I love her. Like I like who she is. I think she's very down to earth and rational and logical and talented and just about being effective. And I listened to her on the Views, and I watched her movies, and I've just been a fan since I was a young kid. So as I've gotten older, I saw that my one of my classmates, I'll call her Tiffany Haddish, got to work with her in she worked with her in that. Yeah, she was her mom in Nobody's Fool, which was produced by Mr. Tyler Perry. And so yeah, I pray and hope one day, yeah, I believe I will get to work with her. And I think it'll be special. And it's a boatload of other people that you named that I want to work with, but her, she's on the
She
top.
don't get credit for being she's a comedian, you know?
She is, and she
She's a
was an amazing one, right?
yeah, yeah, I don't know. But listen, I gotta ask you this. All-time favorite comedian.
Martin
One
Lawrence.
person. Martin Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
Have you worked with him before?
Never. I met him
Okay.
once, and it was an amazing experience. But yeah, only yeah, Martin Lawrence.
And he doesn't get enough credit. He's very much behind scenes, and he's brought on hundreds of comedians, and
Yeah.
they chose to do with whatever they wanted with the opportunity, including Chris Tucker. you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, he definitely brought through a lot of comedians,
yeah,
a
man.
lot of opportunities.
Yeah, he's a special guy.
Tyler Perry,
Yes, Mr.
bruh.
There, the one and only.
Bruh, how did that come about? The movie, bruh. You get
I
an
met.
opportunity.
I auditioned for it. Apparently, after I got it, I heard that he saw the whole crew is stupid, and that he enjoyed. He was creating the bro. You know, we got like a brother type of vibe between Bigg Jah, Minx, and I, and we got an opportunity to audition. They sent us all the roles and say, "Hey, you're gonna just go through the regular audition process. Come and audition." And so I went and auditioned for John. That's the only person I saw that I fit. I didn't think I fit Bill or Mike or Tom. I'm from around the way. So I was like, oh, John, that's definitely who I feel like I am. And I went through the process. I auditioned 3 times, one for the casting director and then 2 times for Mr. Tyler Perry and the producers. And the third time I was in the room in the middle of my audition, he stopped me and said, "You got the part."
Wow. So you've met Tyler Perry, right?
Yes.
You've met him. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the show, he writes and produces the show and directs it. So I'm with him every day I shoot. Like it doesn't move without him.
How would you describe him? One word. When he's in work mode.
Oh my God, a mastermind at work. Like his work ethic is insane. Like he's a mastermind. Like he's gifted. God has truly given him a special gift. Like yeah, one word. Mastermind is a double word, a compound word, but uh, brilliant. I guess it would be one word. He's brilliant. What stands out most to me about him is his work ethic. I think, like, like in meeting him and seeing him move and work, it makes sense. Like outside looking in, you're like, oh, okay, this type of close up, you're like, oh, I see why you who you are. I see how you've gotten thus far. Like you get it. You're always working. You're always going forward. You would think he's not successful in how hard he works. He go from one show to another show to another show, da, 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 da. And he's so hands on too, right? Like he could easily let somebody direct. He still writes it. He still directs it because he's still I would say passionate about it. So um, yeah, and a memorable line that he's told me the first day I met him on set, he says, "Have fun." And for me, that was the green light to go and just be myself and make it great. So I really appreciated that.
Who's the most important person to you? There's a lot, obviously, but one person in particular.
I would say my wife.
God forbid.
If I didn't say it, I think I would be on the other side of this of life.
So God forbid she passed away today. God forbid, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing you would regret that you didn't do or say to her with her?
I think the only thing I would regret is that we didn't go out of town more. We go out of town a lot, but like she likes to travel, and then we just didn't go on a travel trip. That will probably be it. I think
So
I think I'm very intentional of thinking just like you said, like making sure that if I left here or if we ever left here, making sure that I'm being very transparent all the time, hugging on her, even when I'm irritated, I don't feel like hugging her and she wanna hug me. Like I hug her because I just like, oh, I gotta do this because you just never know. Try not to go to bed on an anger or argument, trying to make up, like, oh, I don't want to talk to you, but I might not wake up tomorrow, so let's get this let's make this be okay. Just in case one of us don't wake up tomorrow, I ain't gotta hold on to this. Like I literally do it with that attitude, like, oh, I might not make it tomorrow, so let me just
so while she's still here, when you gonna do that?
travel. We're traveling somewhere this hopefully this Christmas break. We're
Okay.
supposed to
Yeah, just
go.
want to, when people are listening, I want them to have that thought. What if, why don't I just do it now? Make that phone call.
And we're going somewhere. When I say more though, like go see more, like it costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to go across the world. Like we've been to Dubai, we've been to Japan, we've been to Costa Rica. we've been some places. You know what I'm saying? So like, but she likes to travel. Like she wants to go to Bora Bora. She wants to go to Fiji. She wants to go to Jamaica. She wants to go. You know, it costs money.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got the broad money, man.
Bruh money
Tyler
will
Perry
take
money.
us. Bruh money has taken me from Chicago to LA. So
So real quick before you go, right? I need to know, why is it important for you to give back
oh
to
man,
people that you probably won't benefit from? Like this interview, right? It may
yeah,
go somewhere, it may not. It's gonna benefit me, probably definitely, but probably not you as much. Why is it important for you to give back to people
because
that are not on your level?
uh, because I don't forget that I was once trying to get to a level one, and I will always hope that someone gives me a chance to show what I have, what I'm capable of, my talent, and I still am that way. I pray to get the opportunity to do big feature films with big action stars and become that. And hopefully, Whoopi gives me a chance. Hopefully, Mr. Tyler Perry gives me more chances to do more things outside of bruh. You know, like I want a chance to showcase that. So if I'm in a position to give anybody an opportunity to live their truth and to do their dream, I think that's a part of my life mission. I think that's one of my purpose here. I think I'm here for that. And the main thing is, like I said, I always try to see you as me. And I'm like, if I was you, I would hope me would give you a chance and help me get to what I want to do in life and my dreams. And if I can be a part of your dream, that'll be something that I can always live with. When you're big and you're Byron Allen, you'll be like, hey, I was in a brick concrete wall and I don't know what is that behind you. And you be like, I wasn't this guy. And Barry Brewer was starting on his way up, and he took
Yeah,
an interview with me, man, and we did two interviews, and we hung out and we had
yeah.
a good time, and we'll sit across from the table like, wow, look at where guys brought us from there. So it's just about being a part of people's journey, and it's not about, at the end of the day, when you die, as we were just saying, I think your life should be about what did you do and leave here to help others. How did my life benefit you? Like, was it meaningful? Is your life better because I lived? That's what's important to me. So I try to keep that in mind, keep that in the forefront of my mind so that I don't get caught up into anything that's not really important. Like this industry, this being in Hollywood, being on TV is a blessing. But I don't ever want to lose sight that that's that's not all, and that's not all to life. It's what you do with that that matters. When you have money, when you have fame, and you have fortune, it's a tool. It's like a hammer. Did I build something to leave behind when my time is gone? So that is why I do it.
So Barry, the best way I can give back to you is by respecting your time, because Kayla's gonna kill me, probably. You know what I'm saying? But no, listen, man. I highly appreciate what